Right? How y'all doing? I was struggling to think of what I was going to talk about tonight. And then a glorious YouTube comment came through from my mate Jet. I'm going to roll this video off of that comment. So, should be noted, I have no beef with Jet. We've been talking on Discord briefly tonight about actually this video, and that we think we'll probably follow it up with a longer video with us in virtual reality. The video is about virtual reality and our stances on Facebook in virtual reality, their grip on virtual reality, and that Jet doesn't like Facebook in VR at all. We both admit this, we will both say this is a fantastic headset. The Oculus Quest 2 is a fantastic headset for the money. Absolutely brilliant headset for the money. No one can deny this. If anyone says this is a bad headset, they are completely full of it. Absolutely full of it. For standalone VR, top notch. For PC VR, fantastic quality. As an all-rounder, it's great. And it costs next to nothing in comparison to a lot of its competitors. And I've tried a lot of the other headsets, and I keep coming back to this. I mean, it's one of the only headsets I own that I can throw in my backpack and go somewhere and not have a PC and play in VR. But Oculus was bought by Facebook, who have now become Meta. And when Oculus and Facebook when this thing became a thing, the Quest 2 became a thing, it became a requirement that you had to have a Facebook account to use the Quest 2. So previously, to use Oculus products, you had to have an Oculus account. The Quest 2, they announce it, they're going to roll it out, you have to have a Facebook account. And people went absolutely balmy because Facebook said you have to have your real name on your Facebook account. You just have to. No dodgy names like Big Wang 69 or whatever is your Facebook name. You've got to have your proper name as per Facebook terms of service. You've got to be 13 plus as of Facebook's terms of service, and the world went completely spare. I ain't gonna lie, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'm not a huge fan of it. I do not like Facebook. It's not Facebook as a platform I don't like. It's the people on Facebook I don't like. The things that it enables people to do I don't like. So I am not a supporter of Facebook, but I am a supporter of VR. Okay, this is going to be a really all over the place thing. I thought I'd be more kind of clear and concise and to the point, and as I start the video, my brain just goes, I don't know what to do or what to say. But Jet's comment was that you don't actually need a Facebook account to have one of these headsets, to have an Oculus Quest 2. In fact, actually, Facebook Reality Labs, Meta, have said that they're actually going to remove the Facebook account requirements. They might even go back to the Oculus account method. But there is a thing that you can do to your Oculus Quest to remove the Facebookiness to it. It really annoys me that we're calling this the Oculus Quest. It's not the Oculus Quest anymore, is it? Because they have killed off the Oculus name, I believe. But you can use this thing called Oculus. So instead of Oculus, L-U-S, it's L-E-S-S. And you run that, and it bins off the telemetry and the Facebookiness. I think you can just choose to bin off the telemetry stuff, but pretty much every other device you're using right now has some form of telemetry built in. So you really need to start kind of being a little bit more with the battles that you're choosing. But yeah, I said to Jet I wouldn't run Oculus on this headset because, well, to me it seemed kind of stupid. I was like, well, so strip off the store, yeah. So I can't use the store. So it's not a standalone headset anymore unless I guess I sideload apps. I was like, yeah, we'll just use it for PC VR. Go, but what about the people who don't want to use PC VR? Like, one of the great things about this is it's a fantastic standalone headset for people who can't afford PC VR. You don't need a hulking great PC these days to run VR, but the fact is you don't need a PC to run VR with a standalone headset. To run Oculus, you lose that. I have bought a few games through the Facebook store, the Oculus store, the Quest store. If I run Oculus, I lose those games. I lose access to those games because they are registered to my Facebook account. I don't use Facebook. I did not use Facebook from 2014 until like 2020 or something like that. Whenever this thing became a thing, it might have been 2019. I don't actually remember how old the Quest is now, like a year, something like that. It might have been 2020. I didn't have an account. I didn't want an account. I didn't need an account. I had an account that I'd closed, and I was like, well, you know what? It's not actually gonna hurt for me to have an account and not use Facebook. I've posted the occasional photo on there, but like, I don't use it. I don't need it. It's just an account to give me access to a store. I have to have an account to use Steam. I have to have an account to use YouTube. So why is this any different? Because it's Facebook? I don't see it as that big of a deal. I don't like it, but I don't see it as that big of a deal. As I say, because you have to have accounts to use near enough everything else. You own an iPhone, got to have an Apple account. You want to use YouTube, you got to have a YouTube account. You want Oculus account, Xbox, you got to have an Xbox account, PlayStation account, Nintendo account, Android, you can get away with not using an account on that, but you can like sideload apps onto it, so not really. Crunchyroll, well, I've got to have a Crunchyroll account. You want to use Spotify, unless you want to listen to shite tons of ads, you've got to have a Spotify account. A lot of these services are tracking everything that you do whilst you're on those services, so again, why is Facebook any different? You don't have to interact with the Facebook platform, but they're collecting all your data and they're a marketing company. Fine, so is Google. One of the other arguments is that these guys, Facebook, Oculus, Meta, they're going to take over VR, which I don't believe. They are making, Mark Zuckerberg has made it clear that he thinks VR is the next internet. Like, the next iteration of the internet is this. We're all going to do our daily doings instead of being on laptops and smartphones. We're going to use these. That's his thing. This is why he wants people to get these. Because he thinks this is going to be the future. And he's done a cracking job at making this headset. Well, he hasn't. The guy who invented the original Oculus setup, I can't remember his name now. Was it Lucky? Who got very lucky. I mean, he made the Rift headset. Right, first off, Facebook aren't going to take over VR. They just ain't. Oculus was founded from a damn trailer and a garage, right? Way before Facebook got involved. A lot of the cool stuff that comes out of VR is being made by average Joe. You know, bedroom coders, garage engineers. And yes, Facebook are buying up engineers and companies and all that left and right, but that's what happens. They're locking down engineers. Loads of companies lock down engineers. So why is it different for Facebook? There are different headsets on the market. Yes, the Quest is dominating the Steam VR user charts, but it's because it's cheap and it's good. But if Facebook says, oh yeah, well we're now going to lock it down so you can't use your Quest on Steam VR, then you've got loads of other options. As long as there are other people out there, you still have options. People don't complain, well, they do, if you buy an iPhone and you can only use iServices. I'm locked into the Apple App Store. Yeah, because you bought a damned iPhone. If you think Meta, Facebook, Oculus are gonna lock down VR, the thing I said to Jet was, if that's the case, then why do Mac computers still exist? Why does Linux exist? They don't hold massive amounts of market share, but they exist enough to be successful. They are there and they are successful. Because if the Quest 2 and the Quest, the Meta is going to dominate everything and take over and ruin VR, it was a thing, wouldn't Microsoft have done that with PCs? Because they haven't. I mean, they have a massive market share. But you still have a lot of people going out there buying far more expensive Mac computers. You spend more money for less. Or more money for the same. The index. More money for the same. Not quite. The index is a far more polished headset. It's the premium PC VR headset. But you getting what I'm saying here? There's always going to be options. If you want to use the metaverse of Snow Crash, then you're going to have to use Facebooky stuff, Meta-y stuff. But a lot of the stuff that the Zuck mentions, we already do in VR, in social VR, in VR chat, and Rec Room, and things like that. I don't think I need the metaverse. Unless, right, I'll worry when Zuck buys VR chat. A lot of the people, right, if you're a PC VR gamer, don't worry. They're not, Zuck isn't really targeting you at the moment. He's targeting the social VR user, the casual VR user. I mean, admittedly, the more heavy VR user is the social VR user, but if you're just looking to play, I don't know, whatever that game is that people like in VR, it's probably not going to bother you all that much. I'm going off on this big rant with no real direction. My point is really, don't worry about it. Don't worry about Facebook having the stuff, because we've been letting companies do what Facebook do for billions of years. Literally. From dot one. One of Jet's arguments is that Facebook have actively manipulated people. That's mainstream media for you in general. Yes, Facebook have done it and they have been caught, but I guarantee you that majority of the feeds you look at, whether it be Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, your Google feeds, it's all been manipulated in one way or another to make you feel one way or another. Don't worry about it. Maybe you should, but I mean, we get manipulated every day by the media, and we're worried about VR headsets. Okay. Freedom of speech does not apply to Facebook, by the way. The other one, Facebook censors everything. Yeah, it's a privately owned platform. It's not free and open source. Freedom of speech is freedom to say what you want against the government. Without fear of getting whooped by the government. That's what freedom of speech is. You can call your president or whatever a twat and get away with it. You have freedom of speech, not freedom from the consequences, realistically, because you can still get in trouble for that. But, you can't go on Facebook, call Zuck a dick, and realistically expect him to put up with it. It's his platform. He can do what he wants. It's not the government. That American right does not apply to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, any of that. Freedom of speech does not apply to private platforms. It doesn't. Let it go. Plus, as far as censorship is concerned, Steam pull games that they don't like off the platform. Doesn't happen all the time, but some of the games that I like have been pulled off Steam. Hasn't happened to Jet, so he's more positive with Steam than I am. Okay? Sony have done the same thing. Pulled games and things from the Sony store or demanded censorship of games to have them on the PSN store. Nintendo do the same. Microsoft do the same. Telemetry. Again, every fucking app you use likely has some form of telemetry in it. Your operating system has telemetry built into it. Your phone has telemetry built into it. So yeah, this is going to have it too. They use it. There are ways in which a lot of this stuff can be used for evil. But a lot of the times it isn't. You know, just because they are collecting data on you doesn't mean they will do. I am privacy conscious. But I don't think it... I just think it's really stupid to be standing on a platform shouting about a platform, you know, how they're ruining your life whilst using a platform. People on YouTube complaining about YouTube and how it's a terrible platform. Using YouTube. People on Twitter saying how Twitter is a cesspool. Tweeting on Twitter. If you want to complain about all this stuff, go elsewhere. You can't please everyone. But yeah, look, as I say, me and Jet think this is a great piece of kit. I don't think they're going to take over VR though. I don't think they will. They can't. The actual point of this video is to ask the question, how many people have been put off buying or jumping onto the Quest 2 because of Facebook? What exactly put you off? Just making a random, like, oh no, I had a Facebook account back in the day and I had millions of photos on it and they know everything about me, but why don't I just make a completely new Facebook account with a new email address, literally just for the Quest? I did. It's just for the Quest. It's got a few family members on it too, but it's just for the Quest. I don't post memes and stuff on it. It's just for the Quest. The same as I have an account just for YouTube. I have an account just for Xbox. I have an account just for my Nintendo Switch. I have an account for plugins for my guitar. I don't want these accounts, but if I want to use the services, I have to have them. I have to have an Apple account if I want to use an iPhone, or if I want to use the Androids, I have to have an Android thing. Well, I don't know. I have a Google account. Not all the time. You want to use Steam, you have to use a Steam account. You want to use Epic, you have to have an Epic account. And they're tracking what you do on those platforms too. Yeah, me and Jack, we're all going to actually get together and have a chat about it. I think what I might have to do is get Ram in as well, Suffolk Ram of Rand Nerds, the podcast, because he's got a much more logical, less emotional way of dealing with this kind of stuff than I do, and he's less likely to call someone a nuggie than I am. Ram's idea is realistically, yes, they are collecting this data, but they don't actually give a toss about you. They just want to see where you fit so that they can push ads to you. Everywhere does that. If you go shopping with a loyalty card, that's exactly what they're doing. It's creepy, but that's the world we live in. You can't click anything on a website now without them going, oh, hey, he just went to bigtittedasians.com and now he's going to XYZ place and now he's going to a lingerie shop. maybe push some stuff for, I don't know, whatever those things relate to. Like, Amazon does it. You want to use Amazon, you have to have an Amazon account. Netflix account. You have all these accounts anyways for services that everyone bitches about. Why is this any different? You have to have an account for Discord. You know, you have to have an account for Skype. You have to have... I'm actually just having a look on my desktop. What else have I got that you need to have an account for? Riot Games, Ubisoft, Origin. There's fucking accounts for everything, man. Why is Facebook different? If all you have to do is make a new account with a new name just to use this, you're really selling yourself short. It's not like this is digital cancer, or you know, something like that. Facebook is a dumpster fire. It's a cesspit. I would rather hang out on 4chan than Facebook. You know, was it Palmer Luckey who made the first Oculus headset? There have been Oculus headsets before. Oculus headsets. There have been VR headsets before Oculus came about. So, why do we seem to think they're going to take over? I don't get the logic there. They may be an incredibly big player like Microsoft is to regular PC desktop experiences, but there will always be other stuff you can use. Do you like, man? Think about it. I think Apple is supposed to be making a headset. Fuck, dude. Apple fans are gonna buy the Apple headset. They just are. If anyone's going to rival Facebook, it's going to be Apple. And if you don't want any of those, get the HP Reverb G2, one of the Windows mixed reality headsets. You'll still have a platform. There will still be platforms developed. Again. I don't like Facebook. I don't like Facebook. I like privacy, but the internet and computers were never built around privacy. You could be the most rad hacker on the planet back in the 90s when they had no idea how to deal with cybercrime. People still got caught. They still got caught. Connections are still logged. They're still traceable. We've been followed on the internet since the dawn of its fucking existence. Since the day it came about. It's the way they're designed. It's the way it's designed. We've been manipulated for centuries. Just be smart enough not to fall into groupthink. Oh, I hate that term. Just don't fall into that kind of crowd mentality and make your own decisions. Please. If you don't want... Like, I don't like Facebook, but I like the Quest 2. I like the Quest 1. I like the Rift CV one. I like the HTC Vive. I think I had to have an account for the Vive too. Do you like Steam? Then why do you like Steam more than you like the other thing? If Jet was to make Jet's Super Rad VR, chances are you'd have to have a Jet's Super Rad VR account to access your purchases, unless Jet's Super Rad VR was going to allow you to have all free downloads, which no one would use because no one would develop for it because it would be a completely free platform. You'd need to have ways to track purchases or track something. You know, you're going to have an account to use the services you want to use. I have to have an account with my electric provider and my gas provider and my ISP. I don't want them. I'd love it if it was just handed to me completely anonymously, but it isn't. Not quite the same, really, is it, though, comparing like gas to VR? I wouldn't be entirely scared about having to have accounts on certain sites. I really wouldn't. Do I like it? No. Is a Facebook account any different than an Oculus account or a Steam account or a PlayStation account or a Netflix account? No. I mean, Netflix track you. Spotify track you. So, do you get manipulated? Mate, if you get a recommendations tab, they're just feeding you stuff. So, I mean, I think some Linux distros even tag certain things that you do. Only takes one mistake as well, by the way. If you're completely anonymous, it only takes one mistake. If you use a VPN, and you log into a service, you're a dickhead. Because it's trackable at that point. I hate that, by the way, the old VPN ads. Yeah. Completely surf the internet's completely anonymously. Until you log in. And then that IP address of that VPN will be saved with your account. It will be tied to your account. They'll know that you've logged in from that IP address on that account. Ah, dear, oh dear. And then the next time you log into that site without the VPN, they know who you are. They know where you are. Very good. Right. Please tell me, why don't you have Facebook? Or why don't you like the Quest? What are your fears of Meta and VR? I think that a lot of them are kind of fluff. I understand. I just think that a lot of them are fluff when you look at other stuff. When you look at other stuff that's come before it, they're going to push the technology forwards. They're going to put a lot of money in it. They're a pretty shit company, but I've never known a company not to be completely shite. Even companies that I quite like are pretty shite. But you shouldn't be loyal to a company. So, fucking Facebook are going to take over VR. No, they won't. No, they won't. But they'll patent the shit out of everything, and then someone else will find another way. Because that's how we still have smartphones that are all rectangles. Because my God, they're trying. We're gonna have to get everyone together and have a. I think we're gonna have to have a round table in VR. That would be really, really rad. I just wanted to have this little rant. I mean, I loved having the chat with Jet. It was really neat. I just thought we were both being a bit stupid, to be honest, because we were in some areas we were completely within in agreement. So, like I said to you, there's too many variables. There's too many options. At one point, we're completely in agreement, and then the next minute we're just like, ah! I'm like, but that's not how it's going to work. But then we don't know that. We don't know until it happens. I reckon Jet should get Quest 2. I reckon everyone should get a Quest 2. I reckon everyone should get a Vive or an Index. Whatever works for you. Just, in fact, actually, that's Jet. So, just. It's like people who go, I don't like. Just one last bit. It's like people who go, I don't like the what's the HTC Vive? Is it the Vive Cosmos? I don't like the Vive Cosmos. You should get an Index. The Index isn't available everywhere. To some people, this might actually be the only thing they can get. What's this, like $300? Or the next best standalone VR headset is the other one by HTC that I can never remember. Is it the Focus or something like that? I don't remember. That's another. That's like $1,000. You can buy 3 of these. That's something like that. It's like really expensive. You can buy multiple Quests for the price of a lot of these other headsets. And the cost to you, other than the outlay of the headset, is a fucking Facebook account you never have to use. You don't have to use the metaverse. You don't have to use Facebook Horizons or whatever it is they call it. You can do what the fuck ever you want. And if they lock it down, you're out of pocket 300 quid and whatever purchases. There's nothing stopping Valve doing the same. So I hope you're well, and I'll see you all with a bit of luck, in the next one. I just want us all to get into VR and enjoy it. I don't want a Facebook account. I don't want a Steam account. I don't want a GOG account. I don't want any account. But if I want to use services, I have to have an account. I'll see you all in the next one. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's not like they're looking at your porn history. Although I will say the CB500, the Honda CB500, I think it's the CB600. They do a 250 now, don't they? Is it 250? Do they have the 400 yet? Or the 400 back? Is that back? That's a sexy as fuck bike. Kawasaki.com, another one of my porn sites of choice. Beautiful. Right? See ya.